Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid-South Wrestling Review for the 13th of November, 1982. We are quickly approaching the year of 1983, which will be fun for me because I haven't seen that year all the way through ever, I don't think. I might have seen like maybe half of it, but I don't think I've seen every episode or nearly every episode. We open with Ted DiBiase and Matt Bourne here on the 13th of November, though they are questioning the identity of Stagger Lee. They pretty well figured out that they believe that Stagger Lee is, in fact, the Junkyard Dog, and they want to run him out of town. That is the idea behind the promo. Valak Smirnoff versus Tony Atlas is here. Tony Atlas, of course, getting attacked last week by Jim Duggan in a bit of a, I guess you'd say, a strength test. That is kind of what's there. A lot of review time in that first segment. Literally, they wasted about a third of the program going after reviewing television, which I'm not a fan of. I don't agree with it. I think if you really want to inspire an audience, maybe at most a 2 minute clip for a major angle, maybe two per show, so at most 4 minutes of review footage. Otherwise, why are people watching? Anyway, Atlas uses headlocks and basic stuff. We've seen Atlas before. Atlas starts in the late 70s, has been around for a while. This is before his run in 83. Well, maybe not. No. His run where he was the babyface against Hulk Hogan in Madison Square Garden might have been before this. But anyway, Atlas has been around with a who's who of wrestling by this point. Arm drags, arm bars, and the like. And Tony Atlas is willing to do just about anything to get a victory. Big body slam by the big man. Also a military press slam, which is just awkward because his opponent, Smirnoff, did not know how to go up for it. And you can see look of fear on his face as he's about to go up. A diving headbutt from the second rope by Atlas. It doesn't look very good, is the way he gets his victory. Matt Bourne and Stagger Lee is up next as your major deal here. Matt Bourne, of course, was your tag team champion. I'm not wearing the belt here, so I'm pretty sure he had dropped at least the Louisiana Championship in the previous week. You see him snap the man over and immediately go for the mask. Bourne takes him down. Bourne has some legitimate collegiate high school wrestling style stuff. Also second generation star, so he's going to have that mentality a little bit, and he's going raking and punching and trying to get to Lee any way he can, mentally, emotionally, whatever have you. And Lee not taking any of it. Bourne rolls him over and again goes for the eyes, goes for the mask. It's consistent. It's mean, nasty, and ugly. If you're a fan of Stagger Lee, aka the Junkyard Dog, DiBiase on the apron the entire time, or a good bit of the match. He's trying to crawl in and cause a distraction, and Bourne hits the bombs away, and the heels take over. DiBiase comes in and tries to unmask the dog, and then he, in fact, is revealed to be the dog. There is a second Stagger Lee in there, and I don't know that he actually is revealed to be the dog. He's revealed to be a African-American person with the dog's basic build. However, they do not get enough of a close-up there. Second Stagger Lee runs in and makes the save. Perhaps that's the dog, but a little bit of mystery there. Anthony and Lundy versus Robley and Mr. Wrestling 2. Tony Anthony is the individual. Of course, Tony Anthony, a big deal in the Tennessee area for several years. I'd love covering his stuff in Smoky Mountain Wrestling when we finally get there. Probably sometime in the springtime. I'll go back to doing Smoky Mountain, maybe before. Don't really know. I'm thinking after this either some NWA stuff, or I might do Mid-Atlantic, depending on what I feel like at the time. I have never seen the full Mid-Atlantic run, so I'm leaning that direction because it's new stuff for me to see and learn from. Anyway, tag off to Mr. Robley, and he kind of snaps Anthony over, works the arm a little bit, really super basic stuff. And we kind of see a big arm drag. He takes over. Lundy comes in. Lundy actually in a weird thing for him, double strapped singlet, which he's usually not in. I don't know that I've ever seen Arn or Marty Lundy in a singlet before. Now that's that particular style. I'm used to seeing him in the brief style trunks. Anyway, Tony Anthony takes over and hits a few shots. Blind tag by Mr. Wrestling 2 that doesn't look goofy. Short knee lift by 2, and I believe he gets a victory. Yeah, he gets a victory off the short knee lift. Kelly Kiniski and Iron Mike Sharp up next. And Kelly Kiniski, of course, son of Gene Kiniski. Kiniski, who does quite a run in World Class Championship Wrestling. Go check out our 340-part series there. If you haven't done that, it's right here on this channel. Worth taking a deal. And probably sometime next year, I'm going to be doing a giveaway on the channel to get us to 1,000 subscribers, which means new subscribers get entered to win actual money, but probably going to announce that maybe late January, early February. Haven't figured out how all that's going to work yet, but stay here and get people to subscribe in the meantime, because we want to get this to be a profitable thing, and that is a goal in 2021. Anyway, so go behind there, and Sharp manages to grab the leg, works the leg quite a bit here. Sharp showing more technical acumen than most people would think he has. Kelly Kiniski, of course, hanging with him, hasn't really found his niche in the area. He really doesn't find his niche till 85, 86 would be when he's really kind of, found something for himself. Hammerlock take over here, but here at the end of 82, he's probably one of the more bland baby faces. Drops the knee across the arm and shoulder, and right across the nose too, and goes for a cover. Doesn't get anything on it, or not nearly enough of what he wants. Sharp with a backdrop over the back, obviously, and really basic things there, as Mike Sharp has to continue to fight up and fire up against his opponent. He has had matches with shorter durations, so Sharp having this much trouble with Kiniski, I assume, is more about them trying to get Kiniski over than it is anything else. And, ultimately that is there, and Sharp gets sent into the corner, and Kiniski tries to use some underhanded stuff. He hasn't really established himself. I think he's been here once or twice before. I don't remember every match, but I think he's been here once or twice before. And a big clothesline lariat style by Sharp gives him the victory. We move on to Jim Duggan, Hacksaw Jim Duggan against King Cobra, the African-American individual, not the masked individual that was in the WWF. And Duggan still holding on to the Louisiana Championship, so that's a pretty big deal for him. He uses power, takes the man in Cobra down pretty easy with a top wrist lock, and he's got size advantage, power advantage, and all that good stuff. Cobra hits a couple of drop kicks that are pretty devastating and good looking, and then Duggan, who manages to do just about whatever he needs to do, hits a couple of punches along the way, and some forearms. Cuts him off, big shoulder tackle like he normally does, and Duggan gets a victory here. The grappler versus a relative newcomer, maybe a permanent newcomer, in Chavo Guerrero. Chavo, of course, part of the Guerrero family. I believe the grappler that's here is Len Denton, the original grappler. Pretty sure that that's true. Chavo is big in Texas and Texas border towns, lots of lucha libre. He does do well out in LA as well over the years and other things. Head Scissors take over, and he tries to bring just a small lucha libre infusion into his match here. They battle over top wrist lock, with Chavo being the one to eventually come out ahead. Takedown with an arm lock, and then a leg grapevine, and pulls back on the head of his opponent, and there we go that way. Um, and then, cranks back on him as much as he wants to do. And then we see a shot by um, the grappler, and he stays on his opponent pretty well. Big body slam by the grappler, and of course, used to seeing him in tag team matches now. But he's a single here, an atomic drop, and then we see Chavo fighting from underneath a little bit. Hard forearm right on top of the action, and again we see a vertical suplex attempted, but grappler slides off. Attempts the O'Connor roll, doesn't get it, but a leaping crossbody using a springboard with the ropes. Again, that's a high spot back in 1982. Pretty cool thing to see, but it wasn't so goofy that we saw a bunch of high spots after that. Matter of fact, Chavo tries to go back to a regular splash, and Grappler gets the boot up and then does the loaded boot deal, or tries to, but cannot get Chavo down permanently. Chavo hits a drop kick and then goes flying with a dive through the middle rope to the outside. Big deal in 1982, but again, that's sold as a major move here in 1982. Chavo takes the grappler back in the ring, tries to unload literally the boot, and by taking the boot off in this particular case, and obviously trying to prove that there's issues, and referee says no, none of that, but then Chavo comes up and continues the brawl, wants to prove that his adversary has something illegal in the boot, and goes for the boot, continuing the referee admonishing him the whole time. We never do see a clear finish, but we see that Chavo is unhappy with potential cheating. We'll be back with more right after this.